Alright, hey guys, very good evening to you. My name is Brian from The Boring Husband. Okay, so for today we're going to be covering a stock that has been doing pretty well lately. The stock has almost 3x from the bottom, okay, and this stock is none other than Pop Mart. This Hong Kong Exchange stock code 9992. Yes, 9992. Now this is a very interesting stock. Okay, pretty much what this stock does is that they are in the toy business. They distribute in a few different ways, okay, but today how I'm going to break down this video is that I'm going to give you an overview of what exactly Pop Mart does. I'll be going into the revenue segments, financials, fundamentals, what they are doing, any new initiatives, technicals, and lastly, I'll tell you whether I bought this stock or not. Alright, so without further ado, let's go right into it. Okay, so Pop Mart, very interesting business. Okay, off my head, they sell toys. Okay, they sell toys in many different ways. They have a retail shop, probably in Hong Kong, like really physical shops where they sell toys. In Singapore, okay, they also sell toys, but from what I understand, they actually sell it from vending machines. Okay, so selling toys. They also sell toys online. Yeah, so that means Alibaba, JD, all that. That's how they distribute their products in China. Most of their business is in China, and another revenue segment from this, apart from that, is what we call IPs or intellectual properties or intellectual property. Okay, so you think about this company. Anybody can sell toys, right? Like you make I don't know, like some stick figure and sell also can. Okay, but for them, okay, they try and differentiate themselves by having what they call IPs. Okay, this is something that's very, very important to them. And what an IP basically means is that maybe an artist made a series of toys, and what they do is that they buy over the rights, for all these toys from the artist, and then they pack it to themselves lah. Okay, so basically if the toy does really well, and this toy is very popular and they manage to get this IP, then they will do very, very well. Okay, likewise, if the IP, they have a lot of IPs, but maybe the toys are not so popular, then well, that's where their business, may see some trouble lah. Okay, a little bit about this company, a little bit of history. Okay, so they started out about 10 years ago when they were just like, from what I see here, just selling ordinary toys and stationeries. Okay, now they only managed to do very, very well somewhere between 2015, 2020 when they started selling what is called blind boxes. Now, the thing behind these blind boxes is, remember last time when we were young, that time, right, we play Pokemon, we buy the booster pack, same thing. Okay, you buy the booster pack, you got a foil card inside, you what? Same thing for them. Okay, you buy the blind box, inside got a series of toys. If you kena the toy that is damn popular, you can sell the toy away, you also very what. Okay, this kind of blind box concept, not new to us. Okay, in fact, if any of you here meddled with things like VV, the NFT, they do the drops and you buy the thing, you get a random NFT. Suckers like me did it, unfortunately. Okay, then you will totally understand that this kind of blind box concept, you can either do it in like virtually, or you can do it physically, and that's what they're doing. So basically, you go to the shop, you have a box that got a question mark in it, you buy 1, 2, maybe you buy 100 boxes, and out of the 100, you hope that one of it will help you strike 40. Okay, so with this blind box concept, it did really, really well for them, because people are willing to kind of buy a lot of these blind boxes in the hopes of striking that one or two popular figures or something, and then from there they can sell that one or two figures and make it big. Okay, in the case of Pokemon, once again, how to tell whether your booster pack is the winning one? You put it on a micro weighing scale. Any weighing scale difference will tell you how heavy the card is. Heaviest pack is the one that has the foil. Okay, so riding along the wave of success, okay, they keep selling this thing and they did really well, okay, blah blah blah, and then eventually what they did was they IPO in 2020. Excellent idea. IPO the company when valuations are high, okay, and that was like what? In 2020, I believe they IPO at let me see. IPO at almost what, like 47 Hong Kong dollars, okay, and right now it dropped all the way to like 8 recently, and then right now it's trading at about 25. So the IPO when it's high, they probably managed to capitalize on that, and then of course right now we are where we are at. Okay, now the thing about the toy business, okay, that we need to understand, okay, is that in my opinion, okay, toy businesses are cyclical. Okay, it means that they are not like electricity where you die also need electricity, or they are not like one of my favorite companies, P&G, right? Like where whether recession, whatever, you just need to shave, you just need to buy shampoo. Okay, so the thing about the toy business is that it is very, very up and down, correct? If your toy is very popular, then a lot of people will buy it. If your toy if it loses the attraction, loses any popularity for some reason, then it will die down. Okay, and toy businesses, of course, can go very, very deep into it. Okay, there are toy businesses like Lego, where you think it's just a toy, but no, as you grow older, you spend even more on Lego. I have friends that spend hundreds of dollars on Lego and Gundams. These are solid toys that have a following for like ages, okay? Whereas for a company like this, relatively new, okay, don't really have like a 100-year story about their toys, I think it can be tricky whether the business model is something that is eventually sustainable or not. Okay, but apart from that, if we look at some of the financials of the company, okay, unfortunately, okay, financials are not looking very good at the moment, even though they have a positive PE, okay, that I will elaborate on later. Okay, if you look at their latest income statement back in Q1, okay, basically, back in financial year, let me see, in 2021, okay, compared to Q1, right, okay, if I'm not wrong, their revenue dropped by almost like what, 80%, so that's 854 to 166, yeah, so that's a really, really huge drop, and that probably explains why you know, we see this share price of the company drop from like what, a highs of 60 all the way down to the lows of 10. Okay, now it's very tricky to kind of decipher why did their revenue drop. Okay, of course we can say that in China there were lockdowns, hence people not so willing to like go to their shop and buy these boxes and things, but you know, they did do online partnerships, okay, and that probably helped to move some of their products, but overall it is quite safe to say that, you know, with a recession and of course slowing Chinese economy, blah blah, that people are less willing to spend on a little, well, to put it bluntly, a little gamble like this, and hence we have seen their revenue drop substantially. Okay, of course, with this kind of blind boxes, people want to ride on the hype, on the trend, and after a while, if they realize that there's no real utility, okay, if there's no real use behind the toy, and that if this maybe particular series or this particular IP of toys is not something that, you know, will earn them money in the long run, then, well, as with most things, you know, the limelight will start to fade away, attention will start to drop, and as such, this is why we see this very, very significant fall in revenue. Fundamentals. Okay, now, the company at present is trading at a PE of about 32. Okay, this, in general, this kind of retail businesses in Hong Kong, China, they are doing quite well because we're seeing the rebound now, reopening, you know, etc. So right now, even companies like Miniso, I believe, is also trading, you know, a retail business, also trading at about 30 plus. Now, whether this company is cheap, okay, relative to other toy companies, okay, the best comparison I can find will be companies like this Mattel and Hasbro, so your Nerf, your whatever, and your Barbie doll, that kind of. Okay, so your American toy companies, the PE is currently at about, Hasbro is trading at 22, Mattel is trading at 12. So if you're going to say that, you know, this company is like just you know, at a very, very borderline, that the company is cheap, I think that it is still debatable. Okay, but given the fact that we are seeing, you know, a lot of activity, a lot of you know, increased tourism, a lot of movement, you know, happening in China now, it is probably safe to say that the PE of 32 is justified. But of course, if you're really looking to go into this industry, the best thing to do is obviously to compare against its competitors. So it's good to consider both Hasbro and Mattel. Okay, now if we look at new initiatives, okay, what the company is doing, okay, moving forward, okay, let's take a look at this. So as of August this year, okay, the company says that they have 21 different of this so-called IPs lah. Okay, and of all these IPs, the most popular IP is this one called Molly. Okay, and research has shown that, you know, of the other 20 odd IPs, none of them have been able to replicate the same success that Molly had lah. Okay, apart from this, as the company tries to move away, you know, from this blind box thing to probably more sustainable revenue models, okay, they are looking to kind of bundle these toys in like theme parks and things like that. You know, along with like broadening their product lineup, opening new shops overseas. Okay, that's always a very logical growth direction. They says that they have openings in New Zealand, US, blah blah blah. International store count is 24, and they are trying to reach 40 by the end of this year. Okay, now in my opinion, okay, a toy business is still a toy business lah. Okay, I don't think, okay, that that they will have enough traction, okay, for them to really really be able to keep this revenue sustainable. Okay, but okay, I think that this is going to be a very, very, very good trading stock. Okay, in the sense that if the toy is trending, it is very, very likely the stock will trend as well. Okay, because that's just how it is lah. Okay, but before we go to that, okay, let's just do my favorite part. Let's take a look at the technicals. Okay, Alright, so technicals, my favorite. Let's take a look at this chart. Okay, not difficult to read this chart at all. Okay, at the onset, we can see the trend line very, very clear. You see that purple line there, that downtrend. Wait, let me just kind of get that a little bit bigger. Kind of make it bigger for you all to see. So you see that purple line support level. Okay, very, very clear over there. And right now, we are seeing a new wave up. Okay, so let me just kind of put that in as well. Trend line. New purple line here. Okay, gonna zoom in on this new trend line that we are seeing here. Okay, so from here we can see that the stock, okay, definitely at oversold levels. Okay, very, very likely we are going to see a little, we're already seeing some price rejection, okay, along this 28 to 30. Okay, in my opinion, very, very naturally, okay, we will always see what we call psychological support levels and of course resistance level. These are places, usually whole numbers, that people like to either take profit at or to buy in at. Okay, so no surprise for us to see resistance close to about 30 over here. Okay, based on the chart, okay, we are seeing that our 200-day, we have just kind of broke above our 200-day moving average. Doesn't necessarily mean a reversal in trend, but at the very least, it means that you have hope lah. Okay, but of course, if I could just, of course, in my opinion, as always, okay, we are very likely to see what we call a, oh, why is this one black? We are very likely to see a little slight movement back down to probably about the 21 or 22 levels lah. Okay, but nonetheless, if you're looking at it, you know, from a so-called all-time high perspective, okay, we kind of zoom out again, we can see that, you know, our all-time high was like, oh wow, all-time high was almost at 100. Yeah, see, so just nice. Same, right? You see the all-time high here is at $100 psychological support. People take psychological resistance. People take profit. Hence, we have that downtrend all the way until now. Okay, not too difficult chart to see over here, but of course, if you're looking to make an entry, probably want to be a bit cautious about it, like given how it's likely to retract down. Okay, and with that, my verdict about the stock. Okay, I did not buy. Okay. Very simply because, okay, for myself, I prefer to take a more, I would say, a longer term stance. I would rather put my money in a company that I know, you know, their revenue is like consistent, you know, that they won't have this kind of like cyclical up and down kind of thing. I just can't handle the volatility. Okay, but that said, okay, I do acknowledge that, as mentioned previously, there is some momentum, some trading momentum that we can definitely identify in this stock. If you are an early mover in this area, if you know, or rather, you know, if you're living in an area where you have easy access to what kind of their IPs are trending, or even any new IPs that they managed to bring on board, I believe this kind of information can be quite crucial to how bullish the stock is in the short term. But if not, for myself, I'm staying away from this. Thank you and see you next week.